Right guys, welcome. The introduction of Kevin and Carol Shanahan, the new owners of Port Vale Football Club, and we'll get the press conference started. Who wants to get it underway? Martin?
Good afternoon, Carol and Kevin. Martin Tiswell from the Sentinel on Stoke-on-Trent Live, and I just wanted to say congratulations on today. What is the key message you want to send out to supporters of Port Vale Football Club in the wake of this news?
That it's a new era that starts from today, and that everybody's welcome to come back. All the people that have stopped coming to matches. I want to say thank you to all the fans that have carried on. It's been a tough few years being a Vale fan. I know I've been to all of the matches myself, and it will change from today. The value system of the club, the way the club is run, will all change from today. So there's three lots of people. There's the ones that have been really faithful and kept coming, the ones that haven't, who can now come home, and the ones who don't yet realise that they're Vale fans. But they will do when they can see what's happening at Vale Park, and they want to come and be part of it, and they will be so welcome.
Can I add sort of one thing there, Martin? That I've said it a few times today and in the past, but this occurrence really is about humility, because you can sit here and you can think, oh, Carol and Kevin Shanahan, they bought the Vale and all this. It's not like that at all. That's like one fleeting moment, because the key thing of all of this is about togetherness. This football club, this enterprise ain't going nowhere. There's a lot of ain'ts and no's in there, but it's not going anywhere, Martin, without the support of all the people. So dress it up, dress it down. We are here for, in terms of the Vale, a relatively short period of time, relatively short, and it's all about everybody understanding that this is not Carol and Kevin's club, this is our club, and we will make it fizz and bang and do great things because we work together. And that's not just the people in here. I sat on the looking earlier today, looking at all the seats. There's a hell of a lot of seats in Port Vale, and you want all of those people with you and being positive. And that's what will make it a great club. Did I answer the question? I don't know whether I did. I went on.
You just said it's a big stadium, which it is, and a question I get asked a lot is, isn't your capacity too high in Vale Park? And I said no, our league's too low. And there's a lot of work we've got to do on the stadium. There's a very large to-do list, and we'll be working in parallel with that at the same time as we're working in parallel of making the club more successful on the pitch, because fundamentally we're a football club, and we need to be successful on the pitch and entertaining on the pitch. So there's no other place you'd rather be at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday than sat on Lawn Street or the railway or the bycars.
Can I just ask a further quick question, which is that obviously you're a couple of hours in. What are your absolute key priorities in the coming days and weeks now?
Healing the club, really. There's a lot that has happened in the past few years, and so there's elements of the club in the way that it's run. There's a lack of business process that we have got next door. So Synectic Solutions, our company next door, has been going for 27 years, and it's got everything there as far as HR, finance procedures, everything, and that's taking that from there and putting it into Port Vale and running it in the way that we've run Synectics, because it seems to have been very successful in 27 years.
If I could just add one thing to that, it's just only one sentence, but to try and emphasise that we believe we've run next door properly, and that an awful lot of those things can transfer over to here. So a short while ago we got awarded the Queen's Award for Industry, for innovation, but that's just a one sentence stamp, if you like, that we're doing okay next door, and a lot of that stuff can come over here, yeah, and be good.
More than okay.
More than okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't.
I've got a question. Off the footballing side, the food kiosk, so we can have rice, pies, and who kicks back?
Well, I'm really pleased, Harry, that we've come back to the fundamental real questions of Port Vale. Yes, I think that for a start off, whatever you buy in the kiosks from now on, everything will come into the club. So this morning, Kevin and I bought Port Vale Football Club, and as directors of Port Vale Football Club, the first action that we took was to buy Vale Park. And it's actually that bit that wells me up with the emotion, really, because it means that Vale Park, the family home of Port Vale, is back under its own ownership, which is where it should be. And so any penny that is generated within Vale Park, whether it's on the kiosk, the amazing events that Sharon puts on, or the speed awareness, of course, that most of North Stafford seem to have been on, every single penny in Vale Park will come into Port Vale Football Club.
I say that's the most important thing for a lot of fans.
You don't have to put your hands up, you
No,
can
no, I
speak,
think
it's
I
your
don't-
press
no.
conference.
I think it is. I think
We're
it
not
is
quite used to this yet.
I think it is important that I put my hand up for this. As owners of the football club, we wanted to experience every aspect of it. So I volunteered to go on the speed awareness course.
Ironically, he was driving to Notts County that he got done for speeding. The day after we went public, he then got done for speeding on the A50, didn't you? So he will be sampling the facilities. You've also been taking it upon yourself to sample Bovril around every League Two football.
I never
pitch,
drink
haven't you?
Bovril anywhere.
Nobody does.
Except inside a football club. And it is a rare and delicate and delicious drink.
But jokes aside, I think
Yeah.
owning the football club was so important for a lot of the fans as well, because they were worried about that side of it and what was
Yeah.
being happened going forward. So
Yeah, that's something that we looked at and took a decision, didn't we, that the football club had to own Vale Park.
Well,
You know, it's like
absolutely.
it's like having a family. You know, it's like owning your home.
Yeah.
You know, you've
Yeah,
really.
that wasn't a point for
it's-
discussion.
No, it had to be done, and I'm really pleased that we've done
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Thanks, Doug.
Carol, the fact you've worked for such a long time with the foundation, what sort of insight has that given you into what goes on at Port Vale?
Huge, because it's shown me the the football side is really, really important, and I always put that there. You should never forget that. But the second to that is the community and the community engagement. Having a connection with a football club can really help. It can help kids at school. We've done a lot of work outreach into schools. During the holidays, we've been doing the holiday programme and feeding kids, and we're now going to have a kitchen where we can produce a lot more meals. So to have that connection, particularly in the north of the city, I keep referring to ST6. We want to connect a lot more in the ST6 area, but then eventually throughout the whole of Stoke. But to see the joy that it can bring to kids that they can come and be part of a football club is huge. So yeah.
And what potential do you see at Port Vale, Carol?
Yeah, I'm just going to finish answering the last question.
Sorry,
I'm just
go on.
no, it's me. I've just realised I haven't finished that. One of the other differences will be that the foundation will now become like a department of the football club. So any of the community outreach that the club does will go through the foundation. So even though it's a separate legal entity, which it should be, but it will also be run and worked a lot closer. So with player engagement, making sure that players, when they go to, 3 of them came to one of our holiday programs the other day, and we made sure that we got there, that they understood what it was, what was needed from them, and so that they could get more out of the experience. Now I forgot your other question. Sorry, Mike.
It was, what do you feel the potential is at Port Vale in terms of...
Huge.
carry on then, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely huge, you know, and as I say, getting the fans back, but also getting the success back. You know, when you're not a Cradle Vale fan, you're a convert, like we are. You hear a lot of stories. Every Vale fan will tell you, you know, I'm a Vale fan. I came in 1954. I came in 1963. I came in 1972. You know, whenever they first started to come. At the moment, there's an awful lot of talk about what we used to do or what our previous success. Oh, we won the Autoglass. Well, that's great that you won the Autoglass. But I want to be talking about we won this such and such cup, but it was last year, not 25 years ago. And there seems to be a generation. So we've lost a generation of fans, which we need to go and work on. So I was really pleased at Bury to see little Samuel of 14 months, who was golden throughout the match, wearing his Vale top and everything else. And it really struck me with Samuel is that, you know, when he's 50, he'll talk to his whatever age, he'll talk to his kids and grandkids and say, I don't remember, but my first match I was at Bury, it was, you know, the last match before the new era.
You mentioned Bury there.
Yeah.
At the end of a poor season, a poor result the previous week, and nearly 1,000 Vale fans turned out for the game. What did you think of that?
It was phenomenal, and to be sat part of that was humbling, and it was amazing, and it was joyous because, you know, we'd escaped relegation by 8 points. It wasn't our finest season by any stretch of the imagination, and they'd been promoted, and there we were going, you know, nearly 1,000 fans in party festival spirit. You know, and if you'd have walked into that ground, and I'm sorry, Bury fans, if you watch this, but walking into that ground and you'd have said, right, who's been promoted and who's, you know, escaped relegation, you would never have got it the way round that it was, because it was our fans that were, you know, cheering and singing, and I was just proud to be one of them. I think it's fantastic.
You've been regulars in home and away games, in the away end of matches as well. Has that given you an insight into what fans want, and are you concerned about expectations, and how will you deal with that?
I love being part of the away fans, and I think that's one of the things that we've been saying that we would miss more, because our role moving forward would be to represent Port Vale in its, you know, the best way. So we will have to go to directors and boxes.
You didn't have to be intuitive to sort out what the fans wanted.
No, you didn't. But just, I mean, I'm just going to miss that, because, you know, I might just have to sing Super Vale Away from the director's box. I'm sorry, it's got to be done, hasn't it?
Absolutely. We've been teaching Colin the words as well.
Yeah. Or we might do Stand Up If You Love the Vale. That'll get it going, won't it? Yeah.
I appreciate you don't want to say too much on this topic at the moment, but how soon do you want to get the management situation resolved?
Getting the management situation resolved is very important, obviously. If you're a football club, you have to have a manager. We have got one till the end of May under contract, and it's important that we, you know, have that sorted by the end of the month, and so that we have continuation. We don't want to be in a period of time without a football manager.
And you've been quite impressed with what you've seen from John Askey.
Yeah, I can see what you're doing here, Mike. I, as a fan, because that's the only way that I could speak, I watched half the season without John and the other half with John, and I preferred the half with John. Let's put it that way. The football was a lot more entertaining, a lot more successful. He came here, set a task to keep us in the league. He did that, and yeah, I've really enjoyed watching the football since he's been here.
Can I ask how important the supporters have been in order to get to today? Obviously, the fans have had a difficult few years, and this season's been worse than many. There's been protests, there's been all sorts of difficulties, but the one thing they have been is that they've stuck with the club, and they've stuck with you as well. You've always been their preferred bidder for a long time. They wanted you, and you know, they've been chanting your names on the terraces. How important has Black and Gold, the supporters club, and the support from the wider fan base been to you personally and your family?
If it hadn't have been for the supporters club and Black and Gold, we wouldn't be sat here having this press conference today. I can say it has categorically is that for 3 years we've been going to By the Vale, not going to By the Vale. It's been, well, as you know, it's been backwards and forwards. And we'd got to a point where we weren't going to By the Vale, we were going to just be fans. And we were at Cheltenham, and it was a real low point. And it became quite toxic in the away end, the chants and everything else. And we happened to be sat near a couple of the black and gold, people wearing the black and gold scarves and everything. And so we said to them, look, if there's anything that, any help or any support that we could give. I think we did say quietly and in the background. It's not exactly being quietly and in the background. But they came to us and said, look, there isn't an alternative and we can go so far, but if the current owner leaves, then there isn't an alternative other than one that is, unthinkable. And we drove home. There was Kevin, myself, and Sue, who comes to all the matches with us. And I think it was the three of us really that said, look, this has got to be done. It's somebody has
we
got
made
to do
it as far as the motorway.
Yeah.
And Cheltenham's not far from the motorway.
Yeah.
We made it there, and it's crinkly grin time. Do you know? You like the cartoons, and you've really got sort of nowhere to go. And I mean, the last thing we wanted was a decrepit football club. And
He loves it really.
you know, what do you do?
Well, on one interview, we said, "Is this a dream come true?" That, no, we've never dreamt this, really, have
No.
we? It's not a thing. But somebody had to do it. It had to be bought, and it had to be bought by people who cared about the community. And there was only us. And it was that realisation that, hang on, there is only us.
Let me just interrupt. There were lots of people who cared about the community,
Yeah.
but they didn't have the wherewithal to do it. Do you know what I mean? So.
And who wants to retire anyway? It's overrated.
Could I just ask what, you always talk very passionately about the community, you both work within the community, you obviously have lots of other things like the Hub Foundation going on, and the things you want to make a difference, you want to give back to Stoke-on-Trent. You see Vale very much as part of the town of Burslem,
Yeah.
the wider potteries. It's bigger than just the football club for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just, but it's ST6, really, that whole ST6 postcode area, including Tunstall, where it's up here. And we moved to Burslem next door, we can't remember, about 4 years ago. And we noticed two things, really. One is that Burslem wasn't in the height of its success, with Dalton having gone and the Potts having gone. But the two things that was there was the architecture, which is phenomenal, and the people, who are just amazing, and that if they have, and the love for Burslem or Boslem, another
If
term.
I could just say, you couldn't experience, you could see the architecture because it's huge and wonderful, but you couldn't experience the people at a distance. So, coming here, these blooming people start to seep through your pores. Do you know what I mean? It's not good. It's not good, trust me. And so you've got no option other than to do things. So, I mean, we'd been here. We were in Newcastle before, and we ended up here. And all sorts of people turned up and said hello and welcome, and you thought, what sort of planet is this we've landed on? The police came round, there were workers, Burslem Regeneration Trust, all sorts of things.
So what you're saying is Burslem is better than Newcastle?
Newcastle is very quiet, and the world just sails by you. Nothing
That's the
goes on.
Brampton, where we were, well, we still are. We still have offices on the Brampton. And Newcastle is a lovely place. So let's hear it for Newcastle. However, it doesn't have a football club that really needed some help, and a community around it that needed the support. So it changed us. It changed us as a company. It changed us as people. And it turned us into Vale fans.
There's just to finish on that. I mean, there's some amazing people here. Who was it, June Court?
June Cartwright?
We got bullied into starting the whatever it is.
We sponsor the festival. So yesterday, normally I say to him, no, we weren't bullied, but this was June.
We were definitely bullied.
Happily bullied.
Happily bullied, yeah. So you've got people like that who, you could travel 1,000 miles and not find somebody as powerful as and as good as Duke are. So you've got no option here. They're just there and all over you, and trying to fight them off and can't. Just say thank you and get on with it. Yeah, it's true. It's a magical sort of place.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Speaking of magical places, so Colin, obviously a change for you today. What are you most looking forward to sort of working with Carol, Kevin?
Big change. It was his birthday yesterday.
Big change. Belated happy birthday. And what are you most looking forward to?
Well, I think what they were talking about with what they've got next door is going to be important to us, I think. When I think back, it was just over 5 weeks ago now, after the Forest Green game, I really wasn't sure where we were going to be. I was thinking obviously about the supporters, but particularly about my staff and where that actually leaves them, where we're going to be today. And that was really quite concerning, and I really wasn't sure where we were going to be, to be fair. I was obviously aware of Carol and Kevin, and was quite hopeful at that stage. And where we've been in this last 5 weeks, been on a journey, that it's been a long 5 weeks, let me tell you, but knowing you were working towards something like today and securing the future of the football club in a very positive way was a goal that I think we were all happy to get behind. And so, you know, the staff have done that. They've grasped that, and I think we'll learn, because I think we can teach them about football. We know a little bit about football, but they also know things. So I think we'll complement one another, and we'll work together, and we'll make each other better. That's the important thing. We can all learn. You're never too young to learn, and that's what we'll do. So I'm very much looking forward to the future, because I think I always want to be better today than I was yesterday, and I think tomorrow will be better than we were today, and that will just continue.
I think we're done.
Well, just before we're done, you just mentioned the staff. I'd just like to publicly thank the staff. There's a number of them sat at the back there, and they have been amazing. And through everything that's been going on in this club over the past 3 to 6 years, they're the ones that have solidly been working behind the scenes, the unsung heroes. And you know, we are truly grateful to them, and without them we wouldn't have a Port Vale.
Some of us suffered longer than that.
What's he on about?
He's on about suffering, it's okay.
I know some of the stuff.
He's always on about suffering. Isn't
No, I mean, I'm not giving it a time. Some of the stuff I wasn't going to make it sound a long time, Colin. But, you know, they've just been so loyal, and we are really grateful and really looking forward to working with them in a new way, in a new era. So thank you. And I'll also thank the family, who were sat there wondering what the hell happened to their inheritance in the last hour or so. They've been really important to be part of this, and I've got daughters going to learn about the offside rule, allegedly.
Right, thank you guys for joining us. Bill, Pete, if you want opportunities just to get a couple of photos down the front, feel free. Yeah, thank you for joining us.